Hey guys, thank you so much for stopping by on my channel or even just to see my video. Either way, I'm so happy that you're here. Today, I'm pretty much going to be doing a quick tutorial on how I styled my wig that I ordered from Amazon, a synthetic wig. And so far it seems to be doing really good. It's not as tangly as I thought it would be, which is normally my concern whenever it's a non-human wig, but so far it's been pretty smooth sailing. Now, as you can see, I have not cut the net off of the hair yet, the lace I should say, because I find that it's a lot easier to do the baby hairs and to pre-pluck the wig, whether it's, non-human or is human. What I basically used is simple scissors, pins for the mannequin head if you have a wig mannequin. The Got2b spray, my favorite. I use it all the time. And also your edge comb. You can use any kind of comb, but I prefer to use my edges comb that has a brush and a little comb at the end. Before I go ahead and style my wigs, just like any other video, I either braid my hair back or I brush it back. Since my hair is still short, it makes it a lot easier for me to maintain, which I do love it. I am tempted on a regular to cut it again, but I'm trying not to this time around. But in the meanwhile, instead of braiding it, sometimes I just like to brush it back and just simply pin it into a little bun in the back, depending on what kind of wig that I'm wearing for that day or what style or how I want it to look. I might just simply just put a little bun in the back if it's not going to be noticeable. If you have more hair, I highly recommend for you to braid it down or do something different from what I have, because you don't want it obvious that you have that ponytail under there. What I'm doing next is pretty much getting my cap ready. You want to get a cap that's either beige or a light brown. It makes it easier for the wig to blend when it's on your head. With my other videos, you may notice that I normally would have a black cap. It's mainly because there's no reason for me to have a lighter cap because I'm not showing any kind of part. So I just wear a black cap, but in a situation like this where it's obvious that I'm going to be wearing a part with this wig, you definitely want to get a brown or a beige cap to blend in. Now, once I know how I want the wig to be styled, I pretty much just put it back on the mannequin and I start my plucking process, and I start to also work on the baby hairs. Keep in mind that you want to be very mindful of the wig. No matter what kind of hair it is, you always want to be very gentle because you never want to pull out more hair than needed. I always recommend, no matter what you're doing with the hair, whether it's cutting or just plucking, always take out bits at a time, because you can always remove more, but you can't add that hair back, and you never want to end up ruining a perfectly good wig, especially if it's a human wig. So be careful. What I'm pretty much now doing is just, clamping back the hair. It makes it a lot easier. Sometimes I decide that I want to do the baby hairs while the wig is on my head. Sometimes before I put the wig on my head, there's actually no better way to do it. I mean, both ways are good. It all depends on how I'm feeling, if we're really being honest. But today I kind of just chose to do it on my mannequin head. I do have some styrofoam mannequins on the way, which will be a lot easier for me to lay the baby hairs, because in this case I was trying not to lay it on my wig mannequin because I did not want to ruin it, especially since I just got it. As you can see, I'm taking thin pieces of that baby hair. So again, start off small and add some more if needs to be. You never want to go too thick on those baby hairs. Once I have that done, I'm pretty much working on that middle part. I want it to be a little bit more open. You don't want it to be too obvious that it's a wig. Even though I'm sure everyone knows, who's familiar with wigs, when they see one, we want it to at least be a compliment when they do realize that it is a wig. Like, oh my gosh, that's a good looking wig. Not just, oh my gosh, that's a wig. Because I've definitely had it happen before, especially recently at a drive-through where I got a compliment, but at the same time I was told, is that a wig? So, I didn't know how to feel about it. But if you're going to be spotted head on about something being a wig, at least make sure that it's a compliment within it, that it's a good looking wig. Anywho, I got all that plucking done. Again, take your time. Do not rush. Do not rush. You don't want to risk ripping the lace in the front, because then you'll have a couple of holes. Now, within the process of me doing this, it did mat up the hair a little bit, I'll be honest, because the way that I was plucking it, it kind of tangled up some of the hair, but it's an easy fix. Just brush it out, see, no big deal, and just keep it moving. Again, I'm really loving this hair. It's my first time ordering colored hair, I should say, as in blue, anything out of my element of blonde or, like red, black. So this is definitely out of my element, but I can honestly say that I love this color. I love the hair, it's not what I thought it would be. I thought it would be really synthetic looking, especially since it's blue hair. And the lace even surprised me. The lace looked like a natural human wig lace. So that kind of made me a little bit more excited. So I was really happy to do this wig. I was going to try to hold off for like a week before doing it because right now, right now, my whole area is under construction. It's not obvious in the video, but trust me, it's going on. I have a couple of things in progress that's being made around. I have a couple of shelves being put in, so I can't wait to show that to you guys at a later video. Anyways, while I'm blabbering off, as you can see, I'm pretty much just spraying down the front, just like any other video. I don't like to use glue, especially since my forehead, my scalp in general is so sensitive. Surprisingly, the Gots to Be spray does not irritate me. It doesn't burn. It doesn't itch. And I like to apply a lot of it because I like to make sure that that wig is secured, especially for when I'm doing ponytails, pigtails, half up, half down, whatever the style may be. I like to apply it because at the end of the day, it never rips off my hair. I'm talking gibberish. It never rips off my hair. So I definitely like getting me a good old can of Gots to Be spray. It's very handy. Now, I pretty much use it to lay down the edges. I like to spray a bit or even put some on my finger and rub it on the baby hairs, whichever one. There's no wrong way of doing it. Now, once you have it on there, I like to keep my finger or the comb placed on there and I dry it for probably about like 2 or 3 seconds. You don't want it to dry out too quick because that spray works real good. So you don't want it to dry out too quick, just enough for you to be able to still move the baby hair in the position that you want it. Now, once the baby hair is completely laid and you have it the way that you want it, go ahead and, which is what I do, I just pump another section of spray on it. And then I dry it out completely because I'm finally completely done with it and there's no need to add any more. I just like to dab a little bit more just to make sure that it's secure. Surprisingly, this spray does not leave my edges white. The only thing that I do hate is if I do put a little bit of extra makeup whenever I'm doing my cap, some of it may seep through the wig. So you kind of want to be real mindful sometime when you're doing it because if you put too much, it might seep through the wig. And once it sneaks through, it kind of gives it like a cloudy appearance, which you definitely don't want. Right here, I'm doing my favorite signature little hump look in the front. Well, I would say, I don't know what others call it, but I call it, oh gosh, my accent's about to come out. I call it the hump in the front, and all I pretty much do is just spray it with some of that spray, and I let it dry out for just a couple of seconds because you don't want to apply that, that hot curling iron to the head, especially with it being synthetic hair. So I let it dry out a little bit, brush it with the back of the brush because it helps it lay better, and then I press over it with the iron gently. I tap it just a little bit before I completely lay it down because I want to make sure that it's not still wet. You can normally hear it or even feel it because it might actually get stuck to the hair because the spray is still not dry. So once you know for sure that it is, go ahead and pass it a couple of times, which I did. And again, that's optional. That's just what I like to do. I don't like for the top of my hair to be flat completely in the front. I want it to have some kind of curve to it, just so it could give me a certain kind of look and appearance. And I also like to make sure that I put a little bit of that spray on top just to lay down any additional hairs that may be sticking up. And once I do that, I just go over with the iron just to kind of make sure there's nothing sticking out. And I know sometimes with these wigs, especially the synthetic wigs, it has like this lump at the top where the part is. That's easily solved, where you can just use a hot iron and you put it on there. Keep it on medium hot depending on the temperature of your iron. Start off low, and then you can always go up on the heat. You don't want to approach it with it being too high. Again, remember, it's not a human wig, so you don't want to, do the same steps that you would with a human wig. Now, once I have it completely done, I just give it a second look. I spray any additional spots. Now, keep in mind with all my wigs, I've said before in my videos, sometimes I go back and I notice little areas that I missed. So if you missed anything the first time, don't stress yourself out. Just go over it again, and and I'm sure you'll get it. Well, as you can see, guys, this is the finishing product. I love the hair. It turned out better than I thought. It's definitely less tangly than I thought it would be. I can honestly say I will be ordering again this kind of hair in the future. Different color, obviously. If you're curious about how I did that cap, if you're on my channel, go ahead and look for that video. If you're not, go ahead and head over to it. And there's the wig that I got from online if you decide that you want to purchase it as well.